The year is 1993. This is an important year for many things. Britpop is becoming a big genre of music, with albums such as Modern Life is Rubbish by Blur coming out. The gaming market is in full swing with games such as Sensible Soccer from 1992 and Kick-Off from 1989, but one game would come out this year that would become a global game franchise in years to come. That game was FIFA International Soccer, the first game in the massive FIFA series. It was released to coincide with the 1994 World Cup in America that England of course didn't qualify for. The game was developed by Extended Play Productions and published by EA. In this game you can play as 48 international teams with fictional players making up the teams. It was unlike other sports games out at the time that had a top-down or bird's eye perspective and was unique for the time. Now to make this review more interesting, I will be playing multiple ports of this game and giving you my perspective. The ports I will be playing are the original Mega Drive version, the Master System version, the Game Boy version. So let's start with the OG Mega Drive version. Now a little word of warning about this game. Not very good, and playing this version shows that. This is the best version of the game and I played terribly. I simulated England versus Scotland and in the first few seconds Scotland scored immediately. Not a good look, I must admit. I wasn't a big fan of the passing, although I liked the fact that you could turn on and off fouls and offsides. It was definitely strange that they were automatically turned off and I had to manually turn them on. The booking system was good and so was the offside one, and the game overall is pretty simplistic. The sound was simplistic, with there being no commentary, no music, just the sound effects of the audience cheering and the occasional whistle being blown. The only version to have commentary was the PC version, with the commentary being done by Tony Gubber. The game does have a soundtrack, but it is actually inferior to the SNES version, which has a much better soundtrack in my opinion. It seems as if the SNES team had a lot of fun creating the soundtrack than the ones working on the Mega Drive version. Overall, I clearly wasn't very good as Scotland won 3-0 and I didn't score a goal. This version, although obviously not being perfected, lays down the foundations for what FIFA would become and is fun and the best version of the game. But now we shall move on. Let's see if I'm any better at the Master System version. This version was developed by Tectoy and is an obvious downgrade on the Mega Drive version. For starters, there is the obvious graphical downgrade, which affects the game a lot and makes it feel and look worse and harder to play as a result. Another thing was I couldn't really control the Master System version. Don't know if it was because of the emulator I was using, but I could barely play, so that knocks down a few points. The graphics are simplistic at best, and there aren't really any sound effects apart from this low quality cheering that sounds more like white noise than anything else. The soundtrack isn't good either, just sounding like a worse quality version of the Mega Drive version. I wish I could say more, but it was a struggle to play through a match like this. Let's go to the Game Boy version now and see if this version is any better. So, this final version was developed by Teartex and is possibly the worst graphically due to it being on the Game Boy, and I had the same problems where possession was a challenge, as it felt the other team dominated. It was definitely a struggle to control and play, and passing was difficult. Overall, I wasn't a fan of this version. The sound effects were very minimal, and it felt at times as if there were no sound at all. The very minimal menu music isn't actually terrible, and I put this over the Master System version. Now let's move on to my final thoughts. So these are my final thoughts overall. Although I wasn't very good at the game, it definitely left its mark on the UK gaming world, especially at the time with 500,000 copies selling in the first week, and it made #1 on the game charts in 1994. The gameplay was definitely unique for the time, and the only problem was the fact that the players weren't real people. It was reviewed highly by game reviewers, and it was a very important game overall. Next I will be playing FIFA 95, which was only released on the Sega Mega Drive, so let's see how I fare on that.